This is Expose UX, where startup founders seek help from user experience experts.
When I saw that first screen, it didn't jump out to me really until you started explaining it.
So it might be a little confusing as to what I can click on and what I can't.
For the sake of their users, these founders place their egos aside.
I don't think you've done your homework.
I'm completely confused.
Whether wireframes are fully launched, the experts help them advance their products. I'm your host, Richard Brevin. When I released my product, RivalSeek, over 30% of users were confused by it. I understood why, but didn't know how to fix it. That's when I turned to the experts, and now you can too. Let's meet them. Adam Polansky is a UX strategist for Bottle Rocket Studios. Elisa Miller is a principal UX designer for CA Technologies. And Jeremy Johnson is Vice President of Customer Experience for Project 202. Special thanks to the User Experience Professionals Association, Dallas Chapter. And also to Big Design Conference, September 8th through 10th, 2016 in Dallas, Texas. Filmed on location in the co-working space Fort Worth in the Alto 211 building. Welcome, Ian, to Expose UX. Could you provide us a little background on your company?
Yeah, thanks for having me. ScoreBird is the first and only live mobile application platform that actually connects high school sports fans with their favorite teams through the use of a 360 view of the team combined with a live score that's updated point by point and tick by tick as the games are going on. It's proven to be a success, and in Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia, we now have over 200 schools that are partnered with us. And last year, we were able to donate over $15,000 back to the Tennessee school system.
Great. Could you walk us through the program?
Yeah. Once you're signed into a ScoreBird account, you select a local school. Now, we are currently not in the DFW area, just in Tennessee and Alabama and Georgia, but we'll be expanding here. So I'm going to just pick a school that's an excellent partner of ours. So we'll do Centennial. You can click on the news feed, and your favorite will show up first. And then you can scroll down to see all of the other articles that are available. We also have a scores section, which I'll show you what the final games look like. So after the games are finished, it'll finalize, and this will be the final score page so that you can see it. It's very different from what a live score will look like. And this will give you a feel for what our scoreboard looks like on ScoreBird. So as the games are running, you can actually watch and see who has possession of the ball, what quarter it is, what down it is, and what the points are. So then we'll go to the school's home. So within the app, you can actually drill down into each of the schools, and that will allow you to see the schedule, so you can check upcoming games. And then you can also look at this to check past games and see what the final score was. So you can pull up the rosters, and you can actually go in and look at each coach. You can find player information so that you feel like you're truly connected with each of your teams. And then we don't have the standings loaded for this year yet, but that is a feature that's coming soon.
So the thing that comes out at me is that it's very clean, it's very well organized, it uses pretty solid UX conventions, but it does look like it kind of came right out of the box. So
okay.
whoever was designing this was working pretty much solidly within the iOS SDK. I think the next step for this is probably to engage somebody on the design side and the development side who can give you some more customization. The scoreboard metaphor is kind of an obvious one, but again, you've got, think about the things that come to mind when you think about high school football. There's a vibe, there's the lights, there's the stadium, and the look of the stadium from one end of it. The action shots that you've got in there. Maybe find a better way to make better use of the screen there, so that everything isn't all blocked up in little photograph and little postage stamp pictures. Use those margins, go all the way out left to right, and the scoreboard could actually be standing up inside a field or something like that. These are things that would call for customization. What I feel like looking at this is that I can find everything I need to find here. It's functionally solid, but I want a little more. I want some magic. I want something that's going to make me say, ooh, ah.
Okay.
And I'm not getting any of that.
Yeah, it could be an animation, it could be visual, it could be copy.
Yeah, thinking about the transitions, it was kind of designed the way a website lets you design, which is kind of screen, 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 screen. The great thing about native mobile is that you have the opportunity to add something a little more cinematic through transitions and builds. You know, you don't want to, it's like anything, you don't want to overdo it because people do get a little fatigued with that stuff. But
Yeah, there's definitely a fine line there.
you have the ability to make the whole app seem much more fluid and less static.
The other thing I would ask you is, are you focusing on the main sports, or are you planning to offer essentially all? So you could follow your tennis team, for example, or so forth.
Right now we have, we're focused on all the sports with a scoreboard.
Okay.
That's so primarily what we're focused on is football, basketball, baseball, softball, and then we're slowly expanding into volleyball's the next step, and then we're continuing that march to try and pick up other sports that people can manually enter the scores so that people don't lose, or you know, if you're interested in tennis, then you can still follow your old high school tennis team.
Right, because I see, you know, one of my concerns, of course, is women's sports, and none of those. I mean, maybe basketball, but you're not going to have the women fans as much as you might if you include some of the sports that women are engaged in.
That's a good point. The reason that we focused on these main ones, you know, football obviously has a huge following, but also one of the prime differentiators between our app and any other sports app out there that has high school scores is that we have a hardware system that we give to the schools that allows you to get the live updates. So a lot of schools might have someone that's tweeting the scores regularly or somebody manually inputting it, but nobody today has something that actually allows you to watch the data as it comes through.
I think as you have more schools and schools playing against each other that are both in the system, I think you might be able to do some interesting things with the fan base and getting them to clap virtually or something, right?
Yeah,
and see which team is representing better online, and maybe it's aggregating Twitter feeds or something. But it seems like you do some really fun things with that once you get two schools playing each other on the platform, right?
I like it.
I do too.
What's the screen that you hit when you open the app after you've already signed in?
So the home screen will actually pull open your favorite high school. So if you've selected to follow one or if you've selected to follow multiple. If you haven't selected any, then it'll go to a news feed of the local high schools around you.
Okay, and then this might be one where, you know, if you think of, you know, like a Google Now or something that's providing you cards and actions, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it already does this, but like, and you have a schedule there, but you could actually insert the card for, remember the game's coming up tomorrow, this, you know, countdown, and oh, hey, remember, donate to the school, you know, fundraiser, right? So I think there's probably some more interesting things you could do with the feed, right, to make it really actionable, because this is something that I know people are very adamant about their sports, right? So it's getting them to come in over and over and over again, which then helps your model of showcasing those local companies back to that audience, right?
Do you have any plans to pull in streaming broadcasts where they're available?
We do. We're currently working on a method of adding some audio first, and then hopefully we can get to a stage of video. So we're about 1 year old now. We've gone through one full season, and this is our second football season we just made it through. So we're rapidly trying to adapt to the needs of our users. But yeah, that's one of the next steps.
Now, could you pull in live Twitter feeds to this as well?
Yes. So we should be releasing another version of our app here within the next few weeks. And may not make it in this version, but we intend to add both social media, so Twitter feeds, as well as a gallery function so that people can take pictures at their game, post it, and then you can see who's at the game that you're paying attention to.
Although if you look at a Twitter feed for a high school football game, you're going to have some filters in there for certain words.
That's a very good point. That's part of the problem, is trying to find a way to moderate that, as well as the gallery, because you never know what's going to come across.
That's true. Now on the opposite side, since you're providing systems to the school, like, can you help them automate some of those tweets around the score, right? Like, so there might be a way to then entice them to come back to the app and then download the app.
Yeah,
right?
We do have the ability to click share, so you can post to whatever your social media of choice is. You know, it's a little box that essentially says, you're checked in at this game, here's the score,
Right.
go to ScoreBird to check it out.
Sounds like a good job for a student up in the press box.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the nice thing is because we have a partnership with the schools, they generally announce before each game, download the app, watch it, and share it with your friends. So we have a lot of good buy-in with the schools and the school communities.
High school football is about a feeling. There's a whole vibe that goes with that. And I think as you start getting into later versions of this, look at development talent and design talent that can help imbue the app with that vibe, with that feeling. There's a lot of sensory stuff that goes on with high school football that you could begin to draw aspects of that into the app.
Okay.
Thank you for coming. We hope that the comments have been helpful.
They have. Thank you.